limits.
It figures it would be something like this. It figures it would be something like this.
fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It figures it would be something.
Hello, good people. It's Rob Lee. This is part 2 of my Fallen Angel series. And these videos and the ones that you've looked at, these are not CGI. These are not video anomalies, or these are not Photoshop. Now, I don't do any of that. And if any of you believe that about me, you shouldn't be here, man. It is the camera catching what most eyes cannot see. However, as you grow in God, you'll begin to see this with your own eyes. Now, on our YouTube channel a few years ago, I did quite a few videos about devils and flesh bodies. Quite a few. This is something that my father showed to me about 8 years ago. It was during the summer. And it changed my life because it helped me to understand more about the world that I was living in. The difference in people. Because we're not all the same. And when people talk about devils, possession, evil spirits, they simply don't know what they're talking about. And most folks deny it because they haven't been called to the truth. And some folks take it to a level that's sheer fantasy about aliens and fantasy and ghosts. The truth is what God teaches us, man. And I'm going to show you some pictures of what changed my life for me to see something bigger. Now, what we just looked at is pretty fascinating. The pictures of the thing of Paul McCartney, that's real, man. These are who these beings are. It's amazing that God tells us that devils, evil spirits, demons, witches, warlocks, possession, all these things exist, but people deny it. They act as if somehow it just went away. It never went anywhere. But you got to go deeper. Who created them? Why are they here? What's their purpose? What's their function? Father showed me this, and it changed my life, and I hope that it will help you to understand the world that you live in and what makes you you. All right? Now, maybe some folks don't want to admit this truth because this reality is too much to handle. Okay, I'm only going to show just a few pics and a few short clips. I don't research it any longer. I've seen it in person. And once you know it's real, man. One of the first examples my father showed me of devils in the flesh was of a rock band called Heart. Two sisters are the front of the band, Ann and Nancy Wilson. Now here is a picture of the lead singer. Now this opened up a lot of my understanding of this world, but even a lot is nothing but a grain of sand compared to what we'll know when the time comes. Now you can clearly see a black snake's tongue inside of this woman's mouth as she sings. Now this is a real picture taken from a late 1970s video from them performing on a TV show called The Midnight Special. I didn't get this from any other video. When my father first showed this to me, I started looking for it because I became fascinated by it. It's God's reality. Your father told us about these beings from the earliest parts of his word and told us to avoid them. Avoid them. This is who, look at this, look at what's in her mouth, man. That's real. There is a snake's tongue emanating from the roof of her mouth down. Now, what's the devil called? Serpent. Don't you see how these beings are cursed? But they're real. This is reality. Your ancestors knew about it. The folks in the Bible, they knew about it. But people today, yeah, they're pretty dumbed down, man. Pretty dumbed down. Now, some of the resolution on these videos and pictures is not the best because, as I told you in the first video, I didn't download many HD videos or pics back in those days. I'm not sure if there were many available. But if you're supposed to see, you'll see. Now, here's a young devil named Paul Watson. I'll play the video, and I'll show you a picture of what comes out of his mouth. A snake's tongue comes out of his mouth not once but twice. His face changes shape. It's actually transforming. Now you watch the right side, okay, the right side of the screen on the left side of his mouth, and you'll see a snake's tongue come out not once but twice. As I said, the resolution is not great, but if you're called by God to see and understand, you most certainly will. These are not aliens. These are not aliens, they're not lizards, they're not shapeshifters. They're demons, man. They're devils. They're what we were told about from the very beginning. They're what Jesus Christ cast out of people. They live among us. God told us this, and they have been here since the beginning. His entire face is changing. His nose is changing. He rolls back his lips to conceal it, but it's way too late. A snake tongue comes out of his mouth twice. This is common among these monsters. It's reality. But it will help you to understand the world that you're living in. Some people are not of God, man. They're not of God. But then you have to ask yourself, the question is this. If they got so much power, and they do, why have they not killed you? Why have they not killed you? Well, we'll talk about that in part 3, because it's much deeper. And I want you to also think about, why did God in the Bible tell his children, kill them all, destroy every single one of them? You see, a lot of things will start to make sense to you if you'll let God teach you the truth. And I'm simply doing my Father's work because I am his lion. And I love him and I love Jesus Christ. And I don't give two shits who likes or not, man. Now, here is David Duchovny of the TV show The X-Files. This is another that my father showed me. I didn't get these from others. I went looking on my own. Now, you can clearly see, if you look closely, at a thin, slimy, snake-like thing coming out of his mouth and going side to side. Now, one guy said when I first showed this 3 or 4 years ago, it might be a toothpick. Not hardly. Not hardly, man. It's a snake's tongue, because these are cursed beings. And you have to understand the truth of it, that it's a serpent's tongue, because who is the devil? What's he called? The serpent. This is reality. Lastly is one of the grossest and nastiest beings I've ever seen. This is a former pastor, or devil in sheep's clothing. He's deceased now. His name is Ken Hagin. Now, he was considered the most influential religious leader of the 80s. In fact, from this devil, we got so much of what we have now with the Stephen Furticks and so many more of the prosperity gospel, changing the Bible. I mean, these were evil people. This is reality, man. This was what was happening to our world. They've always been here, but they seem to gain more strength and more power because what? People walked away from God. That, my friends, is not the tongue of a normal man or woman, of God Almighty. Take a good look. What is that in his mouth, man? It looks like a damn snake. An actual snake. In my time of doing this, I've seen slits in the eyes. I've seen ears changing shapes. The constant tongue flicking. Like what? What flicks his tongue? A snake. Some of these beings have had claws, third eyelids. I begin to see ridges by the side of the mouth. Not lines, but ridges. I call them snake hinges. Like an actual serpent. When God cursed these monsters, he cursed them so we could see them. But the people have become so dumbed down, it took a camera to slow it down for us to see. But once God gives it to you, man, you will see them. I wanted to learn more, but it seemed that my Almighty Father gave me all that I needed for that time. And then I went through a period of, it's personal, and then more growth, and then more personal, and then far more growth. These devils entice you to watch and participate in their theater and lies 24/7. This is the key. They cannot make you watch them. They cannot make you join them. You have a choice. Remember this, for this is vitally important in understanding this life. No evil can make you participate. Either you choose to or you do not. You have a choice. God gave you a choice, man. Now, I want to show you how incredibly massive the deception is about fallen angels, UFOs, aliens, and the devil and evil spirits with just one picture. And then I'm going to show you some truth, man. Some more truth about what they are. Because we have to go deep and understand, well, what are they? Who are they? Where do they come from? What do they do? How do we fight back? God will teach you. You're learning now. Look at this picture. It's been on the History Channel. It's all over YouTube and the internet as proof of giants. There's fallen angels and who these fallen angels now are being called aliens from a fictitious space. You know, the space that's really CGI. This is the steps of giants. They say it's the steps of ancient gods that came from far off planets and had knowledge beyond our understanding. Is it really steps? I mean, after all, it's been on the History Channel. Hundreds of books and thousands of videos have showed this picture. Rob Skiba and Trey Smith and others have made a small fortune by promoting these lies and BS. It's none of that nonsense, folks. It is the terraces of the Inca and little tribes in Peru and Bolivia and South America. Now, these indigenous people, they carve these terraces into the sides of the mountains to grow their food on. Now, before the UFO and ancient alien lies, most folks who have studied history knew this. It was fact. These little short people had strong legs, powerful lungs, and they're still there today, and they work the side of the mountains to survive, because that's where they come from. They were built for it. They irrigated the mountainsides and grew the food they needed right on the side of the mountains. Now, this fact has not a thing to do with giants, UFOs, or evil angels. Yet naive people and the masses and the godless believe every word of it. And more importantly, they want to believe every word of it because these demonic beings that we just looked at, they have become their false gods, you see. And that's their goal. As you go deeper, you understand they want to be gods, man. Because they love getting control of your mind, man. They love it. They want you to either be afraid or they want to control you. They want to take you away from the truth, which is God. You see, to those blinded by God, they very well may be and see the steps of giants. To those folks, these are the steps of giants, man. It's proof. To those that God has called into his marvelous truth, we know them as for what they are. Terraces used for planting food. Another example, the same liars speak of the Illuminati. Now, this has been popular, right? Now, this word comes from, it means to be illuminated, to be bright, to shine, light, right? Okay, now there's a word in the Bible called Lucifer. It means morning light or morning star. And as you know, many crazy people try to say that the devil is actually Jesus or Jesus is the devil, all this nonsense and bullshit from these poor, pathetic, crazy liars, and people just gravitate toward it. The word illuminate, light, okay, has nothing to do with the devil, evil spirits, beings, rich people, bankers, Jews, or Freemasons, or anything else, man. We, you, me, we are the Illuminati. Are you getting it? We are the children of light, as in Jesus Christ is the light of this world. So why have the people been making videos and writing books now talking about these monsters, these people, the Fed, or all these monsters, these bankers? They're some sort of a secret group called the Illuminati. I don't give a shit what these groups call themselves, man. They can call themselves anything they want. The truth is they're evil. They're anti-Jesus Christ, they're anti-God, and God is boss. You see, when you hear liars speak about the Illuminati, Bilderberg, Council on Foreign Relations, or the newest line of horse manure, Deep State, the Fed, Knights of Malta, and many more, it's because they direct you away from what God said who your enemy is. The synagogue of Satan and Mystery Babylon. The synagogue of Satan, which carry their flag a 6-pointed star hexagram, and Mystery Babylon. And what is Mystery Babylon? Jerusalem. And what do they read? The Babylonian Talmud, which became what? The Jewish Talmud. All of these beings, yes, maybe they do have groups. I don't doubt it, man. Evil does that. In the Bible, they form their groups and they practice evil. That's what they do. But they're hardly the illuminated ones. They may see themselves as superior. In fact, they do. They believe they have this great knowledge, but they also know that God is real. And I'll prove that to you. They know damn well God is real. They know that if worse comes to, if it comes down to it, God will squash them like a roach, man. These children, these beings are the children of a corrupt seed. They're pure evil. They are the children and the spirits of darkness. There is no light in them. And to call them the Illuminati is a lie. It's lies and deceit 24/7. These beings work 24/7 to deceive the people about fallen angels, space, sickness, the devil, history, spirits, and especially, hear me, Jesus and God in the Holy Word. Why do you think there's such an attack on the Bible? So many people, oh, the Bible can't be trusted. Why do you think that, man? Who do you think is behind it? How did we go from this to this? I'm just asking you. When you look at these pictures, how do you think we advanced so much in such a short amount of time? How? Who is responsible for it? Why did it happen? Well, the Bible tells us in Daniel 12:4 that knowledge will increase in the last days. Knowledge of what? Well, there's not a lot of knowledge of God except by his children, those who he has called. There is a lot of knowledge of this world. Who and what is responsible for such knowledge and advancements? Or maybe you don't see them as positive advancements like myself. Think about what's happened in the last 150 years, just the last 75 years. In just a few generations, folks, we went from horses and ships as our means of transportation to automobiles, planes, and ships that are floating cities, and high-speed railways. We have weapons that our ancestors could not imagine on their most creative days. Not long ago, we had to communicate by ink and paper. It had to be carried, your letters had to be carried by a horse and ship for you to receive mail and letters. Sometimes it took months or even a year, even years, for a mere letter to reach its destination, if you got lucky. Now we can twitch a finger or say a word and communicate to people all over this earth. How did that happen? How did it happen, man? It never happened in any other time in history. All of a sudden, boom, there you go. How did it happen? We've encountered so many advancements that we have forgotten the not so distant past. And what I'm going to teach you now and show you is going to, I hope for some of you, the light's going to go on, man. In the book of Genesis, there were two families, the seed of the woman that came from God and the seed of the devil. Now, these two families will have an everlasting hate for one another. This is why I have the hatred that I have for the enemies of God. God has put it in me, and it is real. It's big, man. It's strong. Now, when Cain killed Abel, and he's banished from the garden for killing Abel, he went out and found other peoples, which destroys the lie and the myth that, well, Adam and Eve were the first man and woman here. No, Adam and Eve were the first distinct man and woman on this earth. So Cain goes out and he finds these other people, and they begin to multiply. They begin to build cities. They begin to work the minerals of the ground, and even make musical instruments of brass. Now Seth, who came after Abel, and the rest of the father's family from Adam and Eve were simple farmers, living in tents and working with the animals just to get by. So it would appear that the family of Cain and all these people had everything that our family did not have. After all, they were working with the minerals of the ground, they were building cities, they were making musical instruments. Who controls the music today? So they had everything, we didn't have anything, right? We were just poor farmers. That's true. But what does it mean? You see, the lie is this. These people didn't have more than us. They had far less. Because what? They didn't have God. Don't you understand? This is the key to life. Having God. And God gave you Jesus Christ. Do you see how the Almighty Father was teaching his children from the very beginning? You see, we didn't need to have all those things because we had God. In time, we would surpass all nations. We would build and accomplish many great things. Pardon me. We would build and accomplish many great things. But it was through the Father and not of our own doing. Moving forward, we must ask the question, why we have evil and fallen spirits, evil angels, fallen angels, wizards, witches, and so much more. Why? Surely there must be an answer, right? A great and truthful answer will change your life. However, most will never hear our words of wisdom that come from God because they lack the patience and desire to watch 20, 30 minutes of truth unless it is lies and fantasy. Now, I don't have any fake news, and I don't have any feel-good mental opiates for you. What I have is the truth. Do we fight evil? Yes. Do we fight evil beings and all evil? Hell yes, we've always fought it. We fought them in the flesh, through wars, man. And we fight them in spirit. But most folks don't even know what a spirit is. The word spirit comes from the word pneuma, which is where we get the word pneumonia. A spirit is a force. Like we are a spirit being. You have a spirit in you. Listen, man, your flesh is temporary. Think of your body as a glass, and the water is spirit. All right? I mean, you have to have a spirit. And when you are of God, you are led by the Spirit of God. We're going to go deeper in part 3 and 4 and 5. I appreciate you all watching. It means a lot to me. Thank you for the people that have reached out to me. Thank you so much. May the Father bless you. In closing, let me say this. There is a time to understand that there is a time to fight. And I would do anything for my Father. And when people leave comments on the channel, if my Father told me to come and to deal with you, man, you just don't understand. I will do anything for Jesus Christ. So when you talk your shit and whatever, man, know it's because God allows you to. Because if it wasn't for God, man, you wouldn't be talking it. I'm telling you, man, because there are people that love God so much. Dude, I'd come to your house. You don't understand. And I know some of you big badass talkers, you wouldn't talk when it came down to it. Your little tools would shrink up. Your little members would fold up inside of you, and your ass would be done. God's children don't play games. Yet we're regarded as weak when it's the rest of the world that's weak. There's a time to say, turn the cheek and say something big and bigger is taking place. And there is a time for us to fight. There is a time and place for everything in this life. Knowing when to fight evil and how to fight evil is wisdom. Having the wisdom to know why, when, where, and how is a great and empowering gift. You see, sometimes in this life, we start to get it. We begin to understand. And life is a series of moments, and the one big moment in your life when the light bulb goes on and life changes, and you never look back. This video series is a series of these moments of trying to help people to see the light that is the Father in Jesus Christ, and start to make sense of the world that you live in and your place in it. You're not like these people, man. You're not like these monsters, and you're not like the people that follow the monsters. That's why you've always felt out of place. You've always felt uncomfortable around certain people, because that was your spirit saying, hey, we don't belong here, man. These people are not of us. Evil angels are all around us. Good angels, guardian angels, evil spirits are all around us. And there are people walking among us that are corrupt beings and vessels for evil spirits. The truth is far more compelling than fantasy and lies. Now in the next couple of parts, we'll go even deeper, and you'll have an understanding that only a very few will have. And I take no credit for it, man. My whole life is my Father and Jesus Christ. There is nothing else for me. That's my life. It's my entire life. It's who I am. I live for my Father, and I live for Jesus Christ. And I love him. I mean, I love him in a way that I can't even put into words. May the Father bless each and every one of you, and thank you for taking the time to watch. And may you be blessed by it. And may you be enriched by it, and may it change your life and help you to understand that you are special. You are loved. Man, you're a child of God. These monsters that we're looking at, they're not. But in the next couple of videos, we're going to go deeper as to who they are and what they are. In the name of Jesus Christ, thank you.